Hey everybody, this is hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin. It's pretty rainy today. Hope you are staying safe in the storms. We've got a couple of different things to talk about on hashtag Go Right News. Let's get to it. We'll be right back. So Kamala Harris makes promises on inflation as running mate faces military record scrutiny. Possible value vulture. This is brought to you by hashtag Go Right News, shared by Peter Boykin, myself, American political commentator, a citizen journalist, activist, and constitutionalist for liberty. You can find these articles on GoRightNews.com. Now, Vice President Kamala Harris recently addressed her supporters with a commitment to tackle inflation, stating, quote, "Prices for everything like groceries are still too high. When I am president, it will be day one priority to fight to bring down prices." Now, this statement reflects her acknowledgement of the ongoing economic challenges facing everyday Americans. I thought Bidenomics was working. Apparently not. However, the broader question remains, why are these issues still unresolved while Harris and President Biden are currently in office? Because they don't have any answers. This sentiment raises concerns about the administration's current economic policies, particularly since Harris herself seems to imply the change is needed, yet no immediate action has been taken. Now, there's opinion alert on this. The statement, quote, "Kamala and Joe Biden are the reason prices are too high," introduces a partisan perspective, of course, holding the current administration directly responsible for inflation, which it's Bidenflation. He's responsible for that. She as well. While economic challenges are real, attributing them solely to the Biden administration is an oversimplification of a complex issue. But we all know that things were a lot better when Trump was in office. Now, according to recent surveys, 52% of Americans believe that the United States has become too expensive to live in, highlighting the widespread impact of inflation on this nation's standard of living. The statistic underscores the urgency of addressing economic issues that affect the daily lives of citizens. Now, there's some valor controversy surrounding Tim Walz. As the 2024 campaign season heats up, another controversy has emerged involving Kamala Harris's new running mate, Tim Walz. Walz is under fire for allegedly embellishing his military service record, a situation many are referring to as stolen valor. The term stolen valor refers to individuals that falsely claim military service or exaggerate their roles to gain respect or other benefits. A significant part of Harris's campaign strategy has been to frame Walz's military service as a testament to his patriotism and connection with everyday Americans. However, this narrative is now under scrutiny because Walz, throughout his political career, has insinuated that he experienced combat, an implication that he's been called into question. For instance, in a clip shared by the Harris campaign, Walz advocates for gun control by stating, "We can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are allowed." But there's fact check. Records indicate that Walz retired from the National Guard before his battalion was deployed in Iraq in 2005. This timeline has raised concerns, especially among those who served during that period. Thomas Brenhans, who took over the battalion after Walz's departure, has openly criticized Walz, calling him a coward and a traitor for avoiding deployment. Now, so my side note, I don't know about a traitor or whatever. He didn't go. But the point is, don't act like you did go when you didn't go. At the end of the day, if you luck of the draw and you were able to leave before you had to go to combat, more power to you. Doesn't make you really lazy, but don't say you were there when you weren't. Don't insinuate that you had open combat when you weren't. Even mainstream media outlets like CNN have weighed in, noting that Walz, quote, has done it a couple of times where he has used language that has suggested he carried weapons in fighting situations. There is no evidence that he did. It's pretty bad when CNN is admitting it. J.D. Vance, a former Marine and U.S. Senator, also commented on the situation, stating, quote, when the United States asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him. This controversy adds a significant layer of complexity to the Harris campaign, challenging the credibility of Walz's military service and raising questions about the integrity of his public image. As the campaign progresses, this issue is likely to be a focal point for both critics and supporters. The source of this is a Free Beacon and New York Post, and of course this is also listed on GoRightNews.com. Moving on to more important news today. So, Elon Musk filed a lawsuit accusing advertisers for violating antitrust laws. Musk has declared war on advertising mafia. Elon Musk has initiated legal action against several advertisers, accusing them of unfairly conspiring to boycott his social media platform X, formerly Twitter, in violation of antitrust laws. Musk's lawsuit underscores a broader battle over the influence and control of advertising dollars in the digital age, where a few large players can significantly impact the market. Now, the lawsuit's details. Musk, along with the X Corp, CEO Linda Yocanero announced the lawsuit targeting the Global Alliance for Responsibility Media, GARM, the World Federation of Advertisers, and several major companies including CVS Health, Mars, Oristed, and Unilever. The suit alleges that these entities... Trying to give you the news. The suit alleges that these entities colluded to withhold billions of dollars in advertising revenue from X, following Musk's accusation of the platform in 2022. It's been that long since Musk has had X, Twitter. Understanding GARM. GARM is described by critics as a cartel. It was established by the World Federation of Advertisers. This organization is comprised of the world's largest brands, controlling a staggering 90% of global ad spending. Musk's lawsuit suggests that GARM's influence has enabled it to corroborate actions that undermine competition, particularly targeting platforms that challenge the status quo. Now, here's the economic impact on X. Following the alleged boycott, X's advertising revenue reportedly plummeted by nearly 60% between April and May of 2023. This sharp decline highlights the significant influence that major advertisers wield over digital platforms, particularly when they act in concert. And there was escalation of tension. Yocanero, in an open letter to advertisers, accused them of abandoning X under false pretenses. She emphasizes that X had made substantial efforts to address safety concerns, only to be met with dismissal. Quote, we worked in good faith to showcase our innovations and allay concerns. Yet many companies chose to dismiss the facts. To those who broke the law, we say enough is enough. Now, Elon Musk echoed Yocanero's statements, talking a more combative stance by declaring, quote, we tried peace for 2 years now. It's war. This response indicates a significant escalation in the conflict between X and its advertisers. Now, here's the broader context. This legal battle is set against the backdrop of concerns. The legal battle is set against a backdrop of concerns about the suppression of conservative media voices. Earlier in the year, an investigation by Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee revealed efforts to silence conservative outlets by cutting off their ad revenue. In one revealing email, and I'm back. Broader context. This legal battle is set against a backdrop of concerns about the suppression of conservative media voices. Earlier in the year, an investigation by Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee revealed efforts to silence conservative outlets by cutting off their ad revenue. In one revealing email, a senior GARM executive expressed disdain for conservative ideologies, stating that he, quote, hated conservative outlets, ideology, and bullshit. This isn't the first time that GARM has found itself in controversy. In 2022, the organization led a boycott of Spotify after accusing popular podcaster Joe Rogan of spreading, quote, misinformation about COVID-19. These actions raise questions about the power of GARM and its allies hold over the flow of information and commerce in the digital realm. It's all 1984, folks. No, all 1984. The big brother is GARM, basically. Legal implications. The House Judiciary Committee believes that GARM's coordinated actions may constitute a violation of Section 1 of the Sherman Antitrust Act. This section of the law prohibits conspiracies that restrain trade or commerce. If proven, these actions could have significant legal and financial repercussions for the organizations involved. Now here's the opinion. The portrayal of GARM as a cartel and the framing of the boycott as a direct attack on free market principles reflects a viewpoint that aligns with concerns of the concentration of power among a few large corporations. The language used by Musk and Youngkin, particularly in their public statements, also suggests a belief that this conflict is much about ideological control as it is about economic interests. In this, go woke, go broke, right? In this battle, Musk appears to be positioning himself not just as a defender of his company, but as a champion of broader principles of liberty and competition within the framework of our constitutional republic. Sources: Daily Caller and Washington Examiner. Also have this article on GoRightNews.com. One last article today. So, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin implements robust election integrity measures. Virginia has taken big steps to fight voter fraud. They're my neighbor, straight up. I lived in Virginia for the longest. Other half lives in Virginia, and Youngkin's pretty good to have that guy in. He's doing well as a Republican. It's hard to have a Republican in, the governorship in Virginia because of the way things are. But also, that's another sign of how hard and how much people are fed up with the Democrats. Now, in a decisive move to bolster election integrity, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin has introduced comprehensive measures aimed at securing the upcoming 2024 election. These initiatives underscore the governor's commitment to ensuring that every legal vote is counted accurately while safeguarding against potential voter fraud in the Commonwealth. Key election integrity measures. Governor Youngkin's Executive Order 35 lays out a series of stringent protocols designed to protect the electoral process. 100% paper ballots. The order mandates the use of paper ballots exclusively with a strict chain of custody to prevent tampering or unauthorized access. No internet-connected voting machines. To eliminate the risk of cyber interference, the use of electronic voting machines that connect to the internet is prohibited. Mail ballot applications required. The order requires that voters submit applications for mail-in ballots, putting an end to the practice of mass mailing ballots without request. Both sides did this in 2020. And it backfired really bad because anybody could fill in anything and sign it and send it in. And we know people were faking votes. We know it. 2020, 24/7 surveillance of ballot drop boxes. I still think these need to be in the post offices, not on the street. To ensure the security of ballot drop boxes, they are to be monitored around the clock. Daily voter roll updates. The voter rolls will be updated daily to remove non-citizens and deceased individuals, preventing any ineligible votes from being cast. You know, the writing-in votes, some dead person, like they joke. I think they talk about Jimmy Carter, God bless his soul. They're trying to keep him alive enough so he can vote in the next election. And I'm like, well, what's it matter? Even if he's dead, he's still going to vote. He's a Democrat. Addressing illegal voting. The order also outlines procedures for dealing with illegal voting attempts, ensuring that only eligible voters participate in the election. Governor Youngkin's stance on election integrity. In his press conference, a press release, Governor Youngkin highlighted the importance of these measures, stating every legal vote deserves to be counted without being watered down by illegal votes or inaccurate machines. This statement reflects a broader concern about the integrity of the electoral process, particularly in the light of the ongoing national debate over voter fraud and election security. Let's throw in some reaction from Donald Trump. Former President Donald Trump praised Governor Youngkin's actions, posting on Truth Social, "This beautiful Commonwealth of Virginia, superbly led by Governor Glenn Youngkin, is taking a strong lead in securing the election in November. Every state should follow Virginia's lead. Great job." This endorsement from Trump, a vocal advocate of election security, signals the significance of Youngkin's measures within the broader Republican effort to ensure fair and transparent elections. Why won't the Democrats get on board? I don't know, because obviously they're trying to say that they care about elections, but really they don't. Now, Virginia's political landscape. Virginia is a state that leaned heavily toward Joe Biden in 2020 with a margin of roughly 450,000 votes. Has been a challenging battleground for Republicans over the past 2 decades. However, political strategists are cautiously optimistic that the state may be in play this year. The implication of these election integrity measures could energize the Republican base and potentially influence voter turnout. About that for turnout. So, opinion note. The emphasis on paper ballots, strict chain of custody, and enhanced surveillance reflects a viewpoint deeply rooted in the constitutional republic that will ensure our democracy. These measures are framed in essential steps to protect the sanctity of the vote, resonating with those who believe in the election integrity is fundamental to maintaining public trust in the democratic institutions. The inclusion of former President Trump's endorsement further cements this perspective within the broader conservative narrative. Governor Youngkin's approach aligns with the principles of safeguarding individual liberties by ensuring that every citizen's vote is counted accurately and without interference. A cornerstone of the constitutional republic that values transparency and accountability. Source of this is the Youngkin press release and the Gazette, the Virginia Gazette. We got more information in this article on GoRightNews.com. Thanks for tuning in today. Now it's time for the hashtag GoRight Roundup. We had a couple of news today. I'm trying to keep things either 2 to 3 and not bog you down with too much of information overload. But we're starting with the whole point. Kamala Harris. We talked about Kamala Harris. She's claiming the prices are too high. But why are the prices high? prices are high for one reason, because so many illegals have come into this country and they're raising the prices of everything because there's more demand and less supply. And especially when it comes to housing. And when you bring people in who are accustomed to living in squalor or living in bad conditions and don't care, and they group together and stuff, they can move into these houses and the landlords raise the prices. And then for the regular folks who are already American citizens, we're not going to be able to afford these houses. The cheap houses are now the expensive houses, and the expensive houses are even more expensive, and people can't afford to live. Like I said, 53% more people believe it's too expensive to live here. And why? Because of policies like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, or the lack of participation in everything. And now they want to come back and use this as a vote for me and I'll fix things. You're already in the office. Fix it now. Why haven't you fixed it? You made it worse. Okay. Meanwhile, you've got lies going on. I listened to this new Walls guy, and yeah, it's kind of like the opposite, because Donald Trump is really bold, and J.D. Pence is kind of bold, but he's supposed to be more quieter. And he's the vice president. Well, now we got Kamala Harris, who's kind of really not that bold, kind of quiet. And now they've put this Waltz guy that looks like the Keebler elf. And he's loud, and he's calling out people. And I'm like, wow, he's trying to be that boisterous kind of Donald Trump boisterous. Which is kind of weird, considering you'll have so many people going, I don't like Donald Trump, he's mean. And then what do? They get a Waltz guy in. And guess what? He's a little mean son of a bitch. But it makes things interesting. And he's like, I want to come back. So, hey, Vance will be like, hey, come on, let's go. So it's good. I'm kind of warming up to Vance a little bit. I'm still not sure about the future after Trump. As long as we can continue down a constitutionalist for liberty type path, concentrate on more moderate ideas and quit trying to call everything woke, and quit trying to classify things, and quit trying to put the LGBT into a box, and trying to put other people in a box, and understand that we the people means all the people in a melting pot of ideas, and you can't judge a book by their cover, and that we need to work toward making it a better America. Then I'm all in for any new Republican that could come in office. But we need to have the right people. So that moves on to Elon Musk. Elon Musk is dealing with the situation. Now remember, Facebook and all of them already were caught working with the government to exclude what we were saying, especially during the whole COVID crap, and then the election integrity, YouTube, Facebook, etc., working in cahoots and getting paid by these corporations and the government, the administration, the Biden administration, pushing to silence us, which is illegal. Because if you're talking about the First Amendment of all things state that the government has no business trying to stop your free speech, your peaceful free speech. And so the government involved in organizations to cut out your speech, to kick you out, to question you, etc., is breaking the First Amendment. And people go, well, the companies can do whatever they want to. They don't have to have free speech because that's not in the Constitution. In a way, but not if they're working directly with government agencies and they're doing this in a political side kind of sense. And then we find out that these large corporation, GARM or whatever it is like the Big Brother, 1984, getting rid of advertising, taking people down. We've seen this. They do this with stars. They did it with Michael Jackson. They did it with Roseanne Barr. They did it, I don't care what you think. They did it with Bill Cosby and other people. As soon as they want to go after you, and look what they're doing to Mr. Beast and other people like that, Ellen. Once they don't like you, they will throw, and Donald Trump especially, they will throw everything at you. And it's for Donald Trump to try to throw assassination at him. To keep you down, to knock you down, to pull your advertising. That's what they did to Tucker Carlson, one of the best shows on Fox News, basically holding its own, and the advertisers wanted to pull out. That gave more time for him to speak, and people were tuning in, but they couldn't do enough advertisement, and then they said, oh, there's lawsuits, and Fox News got rid of them. It's crazy. But that's what they'll do, because they have too much power. And when they control the media, who controls the media can control the world. They've said that. And people need to quit being so gullible and just listening to anything on television. I have to get on my dad about that, and etc., etc. That's why I bring you Go Right News. And I try to find the most news from different viewpoints, including CNN. And yes, we get partial, and then I try to add the opinion part in there so you understand what's opinion and what's not. And then that helps out when I post it on social media, so they can't come back and say that I'm trying to raise some other things. I'm glad you tuned in. And the last thing is voter integrity. If the Democrats really wanted voter integrity, they're always talking about somebody's trying to hurt the democracy. Oh, they're trying to hurt the democracy. Meanwhile, we have Kamala Harris. I have won more primaries, technically by default because I was the only one in there, but I have won more primaries than Kamala Harris has won. I am more qualified to be president, honestly, on that grounds, than Kamala Harris. I posted that. It was kind of funny. A lot of people have more qualifications than Kamala Harris because not one person has voted for her. Not in a primary. She hasn't been on a ballot or anything. Now she's running for president. They did the 11th hour, threw her in there. Now people are supposed to go vote. No primary, no nothing. They are the one that destroyed the democratic process. They're the ones that don't care about voter integrity. They're the ones who probably stole 2020 by writing in votes of people. I've got a friend that her mom went down there to vote 3 times, and they said she already voted. She's like, I didn't vote. People were writing in votes. They were popping in ballots at undisclosed locations. They were stuffing the ballot box. They were cheating. Fraction magic, etc., etc. Kicking out the observers. Voter integrity is the most important thing. Because one thing we have as a United States citizen is the right to vote. Why do you think people got pissed off so much for January 6th? Because that is the one duty that we have. The one thing that we have that other countries fail at so much. And when they fail, what do you see? Same thing. Riots in the streets. A lot more violent than so January 6th, where everybody looked, a couple of people trespassed in the Capitol building and didn't destroy a thing. And I know that because I visited January 6th. Nothing's destroyed. Nobody talked about anything being destroyed. Place looks fine. Statues are fine. The Republicans didn't go in there and destroy a damn thing. Oh, somebody stole Nancy Pelosi's podium. Someone stole her laptop. Ooh, whoopee. It was her job to protect the place. Donald Trump gave her the measurements to protect the place, and she didn't. It was lies. And they need to release our January 6th prisoners, political prisoners. They need to release them. People shouldn't be charged with anything that, Antifa would get charged. People that took over the school buildings, they decided to do nothing to them because they had masks on. We couldn't figure out who they are, and it wasn't too much damage. People took over the Hart building before. People have taken over the Capitol building before. People have took over and bombed the Capitol building. They were destroying the streets after the inauguration at Washington, D.C. I was there. They overran the city. But did anybody investigate that? No. So it's very important. This is Peter Boykin from #GoRightNews. Check out GoRightNews.com for more information. Go to Rumble and look for Go Right News. It's rumble.com/GoRightNews. And you can check out my website at peterboykin.com. God bless everybody. Peace and stay safe.